Hey, I'm Quincy and I'm a radio personality, but just like you, I'm always wanting to make better health choices for myself and of course for my family. Now that's why I've teamed up with my friend Dr. Dean Tyndall and the fine folks of New Life Naturopathic, the creators of new-lifeweightloss.com, to bring you a podcast focused on giving you the information you need to make the best health decisions for you and your family. Now, that's going to be without sway from what mainstream medicine has become. Now, this podcast, Pursuit of New Life, we're going to release one each Friday. And we're going to focus on debunking the mainstream medicine myths now associated with naturopathic, holistic medicine, while giving you clear insight into ways you can make your health a lifestyle and not a jump from fad diet to fad diet. Experts in the fields of biochemistry, chiropractic, physiology, women's health, and much more will weigh in on a range of topics, all designed to open your eyes, expand your knowledge, and bring you to new life. Now be sure to subscribe to Pursuit of New Life on all the podcast platforms, and also follow us on YouTube at newlifenaturopathic.com, and be joining us every Friday for Pursuit of New Life.
Hey friends, we've got another episode for you. Thanks for stopping on in the podcast, Pursuit of New Life. You can subscribe to your favorite podcast platform. Make sure you know when new episodes come out. Lots of good information. As always, we encourage you to find us on YouTube as well. That would be at New Life Naturopathic on YouTube, because we have our New Life Naturopathic team with us each week, trying to get some information out there that'll help you make good decisions, healthier choices, all of that good stuff. And we don't sugarcoat it, right, Miriam? No, we're no sugar around here. That's right. So today we're going to specifically talk about sugar again, because it's an important thing to talk about. And this time we're talking about the thing that people use for, fake sugar, to say that they're not eating sugar, but it's fake sugar. So
another
one. So Dr. T, get us started. Tell us a little bit about this artificial sweetener stuff that just makes it all worse. I tell you, it makes it worse.
Yes, the world is the slave to the food industry and the chemical industry. So this is, we see this a lot, especially because again, when we do our naturopathic work, our goal is to get patients' dietary lifestyle changes. We're looking at patients from their whole aspect of wellness and stuff. Mm-hmm. And as you guys know, we talk about our diet and because everything is, again, 90% of health issues are created by what you're eating. So that's why we address it. And one of the big things that we get all the time is like, hey, we get messages or phone calls or whatever. Hey, can I have this sugar? Or why is this sugar here? Or why aren't these artificial sweeteners in here? They're good for you. They're safe. And we're like, no, they're not. So, Dr. Stuber's especially been lately getting hit with the women, bringing in, can I have honey? Can I have agave? Can I have this? Can I have that? Because the women tend to really love the sugar. We get it. That they're trying to seek their, it's a part of their pleasure thing. But it's back to that. It's just toxic stuff. Basically these fake sugars came out in the 50s. Because people were starting to have health issues, and there's a bunch of them out there.
Common artificial sweeteners. Looky here.
Yeah, there you go.
For those on YouTube, you can see the amount.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. There's like almost 21, 22 things on the list.
And this isn't all of them, as it tells us here to, make sure that you're looking at labels, because this is not the extensive list, but my Lord have mercy, there's a lot right here. And I can't pronounce a lot of them, and I pronounce stuff for a living. So
yeah. all this stuff is made in a lab. And anything made in a lab is, again, anything made in a lab, for the most part, especially if it's going into your food, it's just not good for you.
So there's 3 on here that I know, 4 that I know I can pronounce. There's Equal, NutraSweet, Splenda, and Sweet and Low. I've seen those. They're usually in the middle. Yeah, they're the brand of the one you see in the middle of the table that you can choose from, but they're basically the same thing.
There's aspartame and xylitol.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I kind of
sucralose, twin sweet. Equal.
Just listening to how they sound, they don't sound good.
No, they don't. And they're people don't realize that these things are very, very toxic for you, and they're in everything. So when you basically, again, these products, and here's what's the killer of this stuff too. We always hear people, especially medical doctors, well, your stuff isn't FDA approved. And the thing about all these fake sugars is that they're FDA approved.
Because they have just the right amount of plastic in them, or just the right of this chemical in them that they pass the test. Ugh.
They pass the test. But so some of the common side effects of these things are actually increased appetite, because they're empty. They're empty. They activate your sweet sensors, and what happens is when you eat, you take these in, your brain, it actually increases your appetite. And the other thing that you have is you also have this false sense of security, I guess. Well, I'm drinking a Diet Cola, so I can have my cupcake.
Or I'm taking the gummy vitamin, or
and the other problem with these sweeteners is they're actually sweeter than sugar, so they drive that craving for the sweets and the sugars. They're also associated with weight gain. Again, a couple of them is one of them is because you're not getting you're driving that sweet thing. Plus, it also correlates with overeating.
So you said it's sweeter than sugar?
Yeah, a lot of these are sweeter than sugar.
Man.
Yeah, and so what happens is it continues to drive that. I want that sugar. We were at a seminar this last week, and the instructor made a good point. He said if sugar was discovered today, it would be considered a narcotic drug.
Wow.
Because it's highly addictive. You need more and more to get the pleasure out of it. Okay. And you have terrible side effects when you try to detox from it.
Well, when you put it like that.
And all the health damaging aspects that sugar has for you. And then of course, we know how bad sugar is. So you're trying to come out now with these fake sugars, which are just as bad or worse than the original problem, because it throws off your gut biome. And the other problem that we may throw off your gut biome, that 60 to 80%, depends on who you read, of your neurotransmitters are made in your gut. So these are also linked with mental problems, depression, anxiety. And you can kind of see where these companies slip it in here. There's your toothpaste, mouthwashes, kids' chewable vitamins, cough syrups, liquid medicines, chewing gum, 0-calorie drinks and waters, alcoholic beverages, salad dressings, frozen yogurts, especially the flavored, regular yogurt. When you get into flavored, because if you do plain yogurt, they don't have these in there. Because
and you're thinking already, okay, I'm eating a salad with salad dressing, and I feel good about eating the salad, but yet it's in these dressings. Or I went and got frozen yogurt instead of some other ice cream that makes, people say is fattening. And so I feel like I'm doing good, except
you're putting this other stuff in there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And again, that kind of gives you that false sense. Plus it's just messing up your system, your gut. Some of these have been linked to. So here's kind of another list for the people.
Yeah, this is some of the ones we just saw some of the pictures of. And again, not an exhaustive list. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel there at New Life Naturopathic, you can see these lists. If you're listening by podcast, well, we'll try to break some of it down for you. This is where some of the dangerous artificial sweeteners hide. We were seeing some of the pictures in the list here: toothpaste, mouthwash, children's chewable vitamins, cough syrup and liquid medicines, chewing gum, no calorie waters and drinks, alcoholic beverages. Those kind of were covered on the grid we saw, and salad dressings, frozen yogurt. But then we've got candies, baked goods, yogurt, breakfast cereals. That's a good one. That's a tough one there. And then processed snack foods. That's what our friend Miss Karen would call stupid food right there. A lot of these.
Yeah.
Light or diet fruit juices and beverages, prepared meats, and nicotine gum. So prepared meats, Dr. Tyndall, what would that be consisting? Is that more talking about, some of the stuff that has like byproducts and stuff, or what is it talking about when it says?
Well, a lot of those like meats in a can.
Okay, like Spam.
Yeah, like Spam, and also a lot of your stuff that's like rolled up, like the sausages, like the meat sausages, and when you go to the store, I don't really buy any prepared meats. We try to get all of our stuff, unadulterated.
Right. And again, be checking your lists. Well, but you can get sausages from like where you work with, local Amish families, they process their own meats. So you're probably safe if you're buying from somewhere like that.
Yeah. And then there's a place like in Bardstown, not too far from us, Boone's. It's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or if you process your own, like we do it occasionally. It's been a while since I've deer hunted, but I get guys that hunt on my farm, so they donate me meat. So sometimes we can make sausage and stuff out of that.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we're looking at, checking your labels for some of this artificial stuff that's being used to make stuff taste better. And you're getting yourself in a position that you're going in further bad for your health. So you were talking about some of the side effects. What are some of the main ones that we need to worry about?
Increased appetite, weight gain, again. People actually, people are trying to do this to avoid trying to balance, to mess with their blood sugars, but these sweeteners actually increase your insulin, and it can also cause poor blood sugar regulation. And they think, again, part of it is because you're getting these sweeteners in your body, because when these touch your tongue, your body starts to react, and it alters. You start pumping out insulin, and because your body thinks sugar is coming. Of course, it doesn't, and then back to that overeating, and then of course you want something sweeter. You're going for bigger things.
So we're tricking the system.
We're tricking the system. Yeah, you got altered gut biome, which we kind of talk about that so you can bloating, and also when you start to get the altered gut biome, other issues that come with that are bloating, migraine headaches, autoimmune conditions, mood changes, irritability, anxiety, because those neurotransmitters are made in the gut. There's studies that show that you have an increase of stroke and heart disease. Intake of artificial sweeteners increase your risk of the metabolic syndrome, which is basically a precursor to type 2 diabetes. So that way you'll end up actually increasing waist, fat around the waist, high triglyceride levels, low HDL levels, higher blood pressure, higher sugar levels.
That sounds a lot like the episode where we were talking about sugar being poison.
Yeah. So this stuff is, yeah. So
we're replacing sugar to try to feel better, and we're just doing a chemically, okay.
Yeah, chemically altered thing. Also, it was several years ago, they did a study too. When you take these fake sugars in, it messes with your hypothalamus. Hypothalamus regulates metabolism, water retention. So they found that when a person actually dropped drinking diet sodas, they lost an average of 18 pounds because the diet sodas was causing them to retain water in their system, which then when you retain water in your system, you hold it in your cardiovascular system, which means your blood pressure goes up.
So
there's your safe alternative. And people wonder, again, they ask us, well, why don't you, recommend this stuff for patients and stuff? And they said, because our goal as your doctors not to lie to you. Our goal as your doctors is to tell you the truth, even though it's things that you really do not want to hear.
Right. So we don't sugarcoat it. So Dr. Stuber, with what you see in practice, this is the new tagline. You're going to hear it a lot. What kind of things are you hearing from people like Dr. T's talking about here, where people are just really wanting you to give them the go ahead or the justification to use some of these things?
Well, what I hear in practice is, Dr. Stuber, Dr. Julie, can I put maple syrup on my whatever instead of sugar? Can I put every day there's a new nectar, a new sweetener, a new syrup? Sometimes I have to look them up because women are digging. They are just digging to put anything sweet in their mouth.
Well, I mean, we looked at the list that we even was showing of some of this stuff, and it's quite extensive. I mean, just these names. Now, of course, we don't call them all of these names, but
yes, I mean the fundamental problem with the American population, women in particular, is that their drive to have something sweet. Like some of it's a habit, but I have to really work with women to get out of that mindset of I have to have something sweet. And the problem with a lot of, well, I'll go a little bit, the chemistry of these artificial sweeteners, every single one of them is neurotoxic. And it causes a big problem with women as they use these substitutes because they think it's low calorie. So it's low calorie, so I can eat more over here, I can eat more over there. And it just, when you consistently stimulate the sweet on your taste buds, it does, like Dr. Tyndall talks about, it still will stimulate insulin, which is your fat deposit hormone. So what happens is you're thinking, oh, I'm drinking this diet soda or I'm eating this diet whatever, and so I can eat more because I don't have the calories over here. But what you're doing is you're actually making yourself fatter and fatter and fatter. I have practiced long enough that I can remember back when saccharin, all it was saccharin. And then pretty soon, the pink stuff came, and then the blue stuff came, and they just keep trying to come out with something new every day. I don't know if people realize the big one people want to know about stevia. Stevia and sucralose. And I don't even know that, like Dr. Tyndall said, well, people say, well, you just not FDA approved. Well, I don't know if people realize, but stevia was taken, the FDA pulled stevia off the market in 1991. Stevia to this day is banned in Europe. It's got a black box warning for its level of neurotoxicity. So
a lot of them do.
Yeah, they sure do. And a big problem with women is artificial sweeteners mess up our estrogen receptors. Okay, so it basically shuts your nervous system down. It shuts your endocrine system down. So it leads to tremors and seizures. But, when you shut your system down, you're going to gain weight. And the problem is it just makes getting off sugar harder and harder because you really keep thinking, oh, I need something sweet. Oh, I'm used to having something sweet. Well, the artificial sweeteners are sweeter than sugar. So you have to have more sugar to get it. It's just a never-ending vicious cycle.
It's a really bad catch-22, but it's with sugar and fake sugar.
It really is. And it's an addiction. It really is an addiction. And with sugar, if you don't go off it, like almost cold turkey, you can't really wean yourself off sugar. Sugar you have to get just off of. And I like vegetables. I always tell women, substitute, eat more and more and more vegetables because those healthy carbs with the fiber, to me, for women, that is the only way to really, really get rid of the sugar and not always be thinking, I want something sweet. I want something sweet. And also, they're fake. There's not much in the world. I was trying to think earlier, like anything that's fake, is it good? I don't think there's anything you can put that fake attached. Oh, that's fake. Oh, well, that's good for you. But I mean, you might be able to think of some. I couldn't think of anything.
Well,
So
what I'm actually trying to think of right now, and we're going to in a minute talk about alternatives because we're going to talk about new-lifeweightloss.com. But Dr. T or Miriam or Dr. Stuber, or whoever wants to chime in here, I know that there are people watching this and listening to this right now that are thinking, but I can have this kind of sugar, like you said with the maple syrup, or I can have this fruit and this has, so as people are thinking about, quote, natural sugars, what do you have to say to that? Who wants to chime in? Because I know that those are the wheels that are turning for most people right now.
Well, natural sugars, if you get them from like fruit, you're pretty good shape. Because again, when you get it from fruit, the whole fruit, not fruit juices, not fruit, dried fruit, because again, you tend to overeat. If you eat the whole fruit, an apple, a banana, tangerines, oranges, grapes. Like one of my favorite snacks is I take red grapes or green grapes. I pull them off the vine, I wash them, I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I throw them in the freezer. So when they're frozen, so I'll grab, like, if I want a snack, I'll grab 4 or 5 of those, and they're kind of nice and crunchy, and they taste good, and they're very low sugar, carbohydrate. Plus, I'm getting all that fiber. So I'm getting soluble fiber and insoluble fiber, which is feeding my gut. So when I eat my food, I enjoy my food, but I'm also eating my food because I want to be healthy, and that's the driving force and factor for me. So when I eat those things, they feed me. I enjoy them, and then that's how you. If you want those things, that's the best place to get them.
Yeah. Dr. Stuber, anything to add there?
Well, I just think people need to get away from the thought process of I need something sweet. But you don't need anything sweet. You need good nutrition.
So we have like we do a test in the office with Jim Nema. Dr. Stuber we keep a bottle of Jim Nema and a piece of candy on her desk. You get a piece of candy, you have to have the Jim Nema first, and you have to suck on it. And then we give the people a piece of candy. And then what happens? They're like, oh, this tastes terrible. Well, that's what they say about the Jim Nema. And then when they have the candy, they I don't taste anything. It tastes terrible.
You can't taste the sugar.
Because it's Jim Nema. Yeah, because it's Jim Nema, and anesthetizes your tongue, the sweet sugar. Plus, when you take it in your brain, it dampens down the sugar receptor sites. I want sugar. And in your gut, it knocks out the sugar receptor sites that I want sugar. So that's a great product that we use for a lot of people to help them break the addiction to that sugar.
Interesting. Miriam, you were nodding emphatically when we were talking about some of the fruits. What do you want to add to this part of the conversation about, when people talk about alternatives or, quote, natural alternatives when it comes to sugar and artificial sugar?
Well, you definitely hit the nail on the head when you mentioned that, because that was my first question is what about, all natural alternative sugars, complex sugars, because we're mostly talking about specifically simple sugars and even more so artificial simple sugars. Mm-hmm. And so, even fruits contain a lot of sugars. The good thing about them is they're more complex sugars, so your body's going to take longer to break them down. They're not going to feed the bad bacteria in your biome. They're not going to basically be a feeding mechanism to your parasites or anything bad that will eat that sugar and thrive on it. And so, as we've discussed many times before, the side effects of sugar, it's not common sense, and it is difficult because it is an addictive type of thing. And your brain, your taste buds, your body, once they get adjusted to that, it is really hard to come off of that. And so that's basically why we developed the weight loss website, because we have recipes with real food, newlifeweightloss.com, through New Life Naturopathic. And, we're trying to get people back into eating real foods. And like I said, it is not common sense because sugar is another silent killer. It's not something that you eat and then, right after it, you I mean, for some people, but a lot of people, you don't feel like crap right after because your brain is being tricked into thinking you need more and more of this.
Yeah, it's definitely a delayed crash, a delayed feeling when it comes to too much sugar or when you overdo it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then you get the sugar rush or the sugar hype, and then, just the ups and downs of it. And, growing up, of course, as a kid, and my parents didn't really know better, I used to eat cake, candy, soft drinks, all of that. And like Dr. Stuber mentioned, the best way to come off of it is cold turkey. I completely agree with that from first experience, because, and the great thing is I was exposed to, the more of the education on the side effects of the negative side effects of sugars and, other bad foods from an early age. And, luckily I actually took that seriously. I know not everybody does, but, the side effects that they showed short and long term were scary to me. And, I said, I don't want to end up like that. So, I guess as a kid, I guess because I'm a scientist, I always experimented with myself too. And so I just quit cold turkey, and then, trying to get back to it after a few months, I couldn't even swallow, one gulp of a soft drink because it hurt to go down. And so, that's one of the things that I know it is difficult to quit cold turkey, and not everybody can. And, for those people, we definitely try to, get them off of it in a more graceful and easier way for them. But yeah, that's what we're here for, is to educate people on the really bad, negative, killing side effects of sugar and all of these artificial sweeteners, and to start eating real foods. More preferably cook. I know it's difficult to cook too. Not everyone has the space or the time, but with the recipes, we have all of that in mind. And we have different gradients of recipes and different difficulties, not difficulty levels, but depending on how much of a cooker you are or how much time you want to spend cooking, we have something for everyone.
That's new-lifeweightloss.com. Some great options there. And as we're finishing up this particular episode on artificial sweeteners, Dr. Tyndall, is there anything you want to leave people with today?
Yeah, and I understand, one of the big things that we get, and confusing things for people is that people go, well, especially our diabetics, and, people have, well, my doctor said, okay, what we try to explain to people, and I've said it here several times, knowledge in the field is vertical, it's not horizontal. Doctors know drugs, doctors know surgeries. And that's about all they really know. They don't study nutrition. We were at classes this weekend. All the classes I go to, that we've all been to, I would bet you there's maybe one doctor in the room, and a medical doctor. Most of the times it's other doctors, like chiropractic doctors, or naturopathic medicine, acupuncturists. Believe it or not, we see a lot more nurses and nurse practitioners in there.
Because they're usually the ones that are in the room longer with a patient to have conversations and give advice. So, and
it's nice to see the we're seeing more and more nurse practitioners in there, which is great to see. But as far as the medical doctors, they're not there because they're going to classes on what's the latest drug and what's the latest thing. So they don't know about the dangers of these things. They don't research these things. As chiropractors and naturopathic, especially on our naturopathic part of it, where we're trying to get patients healthy. And this is why people need to need help. They need guidance to get through this stuff, because there's a lot of bad information out there, misinformation out there, a lot of marketing, and everybody's confused. So, with that, get off the fake sugars. This stuff is bad for you. It's toxic for you, and it'll make you sick, and eventually it will kill you.
Yeah, and that's why we don't sugarcoat it. We bring the information and we remind people that it's.
Yet again.
I'm sorry, you did it a couple episodes ago, and it fits so perfectly because we're telling people things that I'm here too. I'm raising my hand because I'm the one in the bunch that doesn't have the training. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing these things as somebody that would be listening to a podcast like this, thinking, okay, yep, I need to get that out of my pantry. Okay, yeah, I need to stop doing that. And so the fact that we can bring these truths without the sugar, just like your food needs to be, and no artificial sugars, the fact that we didn't come up with that sooner, Miriam, that was a really good one a couple weeks ago. So we don't sugarcoat it here on Pursuit of New Life for a reason. We want to make sure that you understand this information, and we want you to visit newlifenaturopathic.com, visit the information that's there. You can find us, of course, at the options that we've been talking about that Miriam pointed out, new-lifeweightloss.com, some opportunities there. Very, very affordable to be a part of, some great recipes and some things that can get you in the right choices, natural lifestyle, holistic lifestyle, and making sure that those options are available to you. And then we encourage you to subscribe to the podcast, of course, Pursuit of New Life, and find us on YouTube, New Life Naturopathic. So it's interesting timing, of course, that we are coming out of the sugar holiday season and getting ready to go into the other holiday seasons of cakes and pies and all of that stuff. And we're telling you, this fake sugar stuff doesn't do any better for you. Sugar kills, period.
And if you want a good Thanksgiving recipes, we have a free Thanksgiving recipes for turkey, all that stuff. It's free on our website for the holiday.
Now, is this on new-lifeweightloss.com?
Yes, it is. Yep.
All right. Well, that's good because I've got that on the screen for people to see that are watching on YouTube. All right.
Sorry, I forgot the hyphen or dash.
That's all right. I had you covered on the graphic there. And then the next chance I had, new-lifeweightloss.com. And that is one of the reasons that we started doing Pursuit of New Life as a podcast, is to point people to that website, yes, but also get this information out to you so that you can make decisions that are better for your family. And again, look at the whole self, the whole part of being healthy, not just little aspects, this vitamin or that vitamin. Yes, there's supplements and there's things like that along the way. If you've watched any of our episodes, you know that. But this today, we're already over our normal time, but artificial sweeteners, sugar kills, and it can really cause a lot of issues. So we encourage you to make sure that you're staying alongside this holistic ride on Pursuit of New Life. Subscribe so you know when new episodes are coming out when we're talking about these topics, and also find us on YouTube as mentioned. That'll be at New Life Naturopathic. So for the New Life team, thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next time on Pursuit of New Life.
Thanks, Quincy.
Thanks, Quincy.
Thanks, Quincy.